What's happening? What up? What it do? That's for sure. But everybody in my city say, what up, doe? What up? What up, doe? What up? What it do? That's for sure. But everybody in my city say, what's going on, misadventures? What? Hope you're being smooth with it, cool with it, and true with it. Can you hear me? Yes, you should hear me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? All right, cool, cool, cool. All right, y'all. Let me start it off like this. We got the copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act, 1976. Allowance is made for the fair use for the purpose such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. You heard me say it. You can't say I didn't. It's in the description. It's pinned in the chat. You can't sue me. You can try, but you can't sue me. It's fair use, y'all. It's in effect. It is in effect. Mm-hmm. Let me shout out to my replay gang. Leave your girl a comment. Tell me what you think. Your opinion on the monster number 8. And to the bush watchers, if you everybody kindly take whatever finger you would like and hit that thumbs up button real smooth, like real cool, like for your girl. It's greatly appreciated. Share the live, subscribe. It's free. And I must say, you would look better in green over here. Just my opinion, you would look better in green over here. That's how you join if you want to become a member. It also is in my bio on my YouTube page. But yes, in my opinion, you would look green over here. You would look better in green over here. You are. Hold on, let me look. You are. And plus, on here on my back end, you have a wrench, and you have like a special like circle around your name. Listen, let me see. You see how are you looking at? Are you watching on TV? See how you have a wrench and a circle next to your name, and I have your comment that says "Yo" on the TV. That indicates that you are a member. Hold on, let me look at the chat. It's been a long time since I watched it on TV, y'all. Let's see. Yeah, it's been a grip. So it might not be green anymore. Oh yeah, it's looking like, yeah, it's like greenish, tealish. Yeah. Fancy dancy, yeah, that part, it sure is. You know, the members gotta stand out, you know? Y'all get special treatment. Y'all get special access. You know what I'm saying? Lottie Motti told me. She said, hey, JJ Mods, happy almost Christmas. Happy ho, y'all day. Yeah, happy holidays to ya. I said, happy holidays back to you, Lottie Motti. Happy holidays back to you and yours. The link is in the chat as well. All right. I didn't miss anybody. Okay, okay, okay. Miss Adventure says happy holidays to all y'all. She says, okay, we got 8 days left to 2025, and we are 2 days away from the 25th day of December, y'all. 2 days away. So the monster number 8 is going to be Kelli Bryant. Diabolical. Diabolical bitch. Yeah. And guess what, guys? She's out here free, not locked up. I don't know how. I don't know why. Uh, and this ain't Kim Worthless either. This is Oakland County. Look at this broad. Mm. Oh, all right. Hold on. Let me tell you. Let me show this real quick, just to cover my ass. Boop. Wait. Let me remove this. Let me remove me. All right, these are the conditions of the house, y'all. Look at this. Look at this. Crazy. Look at all them pizza boxes. Look at that shit, y'all. How? Look at that. And again, y'all, this woman is out here. This is where they found her kids. And the plot thickened once they found them, y'all. So, let's remember this fucking monster, fucking Kelli Bryant. Let's remember her, y'all. And prayers for them babies. I hope they're getting the help that they need, and the food and the nutrition and all that other shit, and the love and attention that they deserve. I really do. Praying for them babies. Pontiac motherfucking monster right here. This Pontiac monster hoe. Okay, right. Let me share my screen. We gon' run the motherfucking clip on this monster. Here we go.
Did you know that nearly half of US TV streaming time is on Roku? With Roku's new self-service app tool, it's easy to set up your own CTV campaign under Roku's leading scale and expand your marketing mix. Roku is the #1 TV streaming platform.
All out, not just how they are both mentally and physically, but how did this ever happen to have these kids fall through the cracks on so many levels?
Now for what's tipping the scales of justice, we've got two big developments in the case of the Michigan mother accused of abandoning her 3 children in a house of filth. That mom is now facing additional charges this morning, and her bond has been drastically lowered. Officials say that Kelli Bryant left her 3 kids alone for years inside of a dirty, feces-filled townhouse in Pontiac, Michigan. The local sheriff expressing outrage when it happened.
That's going to be a very long process to figure this all out. Not just.
And don't mind me, your girl. I'm going to be coming off mute every now and then. I just still can't believe how and why she's free. How? I hope there's a no contact order. But we know how motherfuckers like to not fucking follow those and do whatever the fuck they want. But again, it just grinds my gears, y'all. It really, really grinds your girl's gears that this bitch is out here walking free.
How they are both mentally and physically, but how did this ever happen to have these kids fall through the cracks on so many levels with relatives, the community, and with schools?
Bryant's already charged with 3 counts of first-degree child abuse, and now she's charged with welfare fraud as well, as police say she was collecting nearly $30,000 in payments between 2022 and
Hold on a fucking minute. $30,000? What the fuck? How? You dirty dog. I'm telling y'all, the money is the root of all evil. Wow. And that's how you do them shorties? But again, y'all, she's out here free. She's out here free, walking, doing whatever the fuck she wants.
and 2025, and certainly not using those payments to help her kids. Doesn't that make you sick? Let's talk about how that may tip the scales in this case. Still with me, attorney Casey Early, and I want to welcome in attorney and the former director of Family and Children's Services in the state of Georgia, Mr. Tom Rawlings. Great to have you both here. Tom, let me begin with you on this one. Your thoughts on this case as a whole, and also on the new charges just tacked on for this woman.
Sure, Julie. I think certainly the new charges are yet another hammer against her, which is great. In general, I would agree with the sheriff. This is a situation in which these poor children fell through the cracks. They were essentially left alone to fend for themselves, maybe with some DoorDash or Instacart deliveries every week and that. And yet, supposedly, Ms.
4 years, y'all. 4 fucking years. I must say this. Them shorties survived. They're survivors, for sure. Cause did y'all see that house? Yeah.
Bryant, there were 2 fathers of the children in town. Supposedly, Ms. Bryant's family was in town. There obviously would be neighbors. These children were not in school, so no one bothered to say, hey, it's Christmas, where are my grandchildren? Hey, it's Christmas, I need to get toys to my children. Why aren't these children going to school each day?
Great points, Tom. Let's talk about that. I have some fast facts for you both here. So the garbage was piled as high as 4 feet. Mold, human waste found all throughout the house. Their mother abandoned them in the year 2020 or 2021. The mother had contact with the boy, had not seen the girls in years. Went outside to feel the grass.
Oh, we got 4 years, which, you know, that's 365 days. Then we know one of those is a leap year, so I don't remember. I think it's shy 1 year. A lot of fucking days. A lot of days. Thousands of days. Where are where are the grandparents? Like, where the fathers? Like, I wonder if they ever attended school. I wonder if there is any coming back from this, like a certain amount, you know what I'm saying? Can these shorties come back from this, y'all? It's gonna take a lot. This woman's evil as fuck. She's a monster. She's evil. I just don't know, man. Again, like that shit, that mental and being, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Annihilated from the world. You know what I'm saying? And especially at a young age for so long. Poor shorties, man. Poor shorties.
And check the mail of toothbrush and toothpaste in them to the restroom after they were rescued. They didn't know how to brush their teeth or flush the toilet, and their toenails were so long they had trouble walking. I spoke to you first about this case. You were moved.
Y'all heard that, right? They didn't even know how to flush the toilet. And she was getting all that motherfucking money. She was getting paid to be a monster. All these fucking monsters were getting paid. Crazy work, y'all. Crazy work.
To tears about this one and what happened to these kids. What does it make you think when you hear that mom was getting money coming in and not using it to give her kids the basic necessities?
Yes.
Well, thanks for asking the question, ma'am. It pisses me right the fuck off. Like I said, it grinds my gears. Free fucking money. And then babies don't even know how to, they couldn't even walk their toenails. They didn't even know how to flush the toilet, y'all. Wow.
Julie, when I first heard this case, I didn't know the severity of the allegations, and it just really hurt my heart. And I went to court that day just thinking about this entire case, that almost $30,000 that should have been allocated to the children for basic necessities, not anything elaborate, and she spent it on herself. It makes me sick with the additional charges, let alone the foundation of the charges. And going back to what my colleagues stated, you had the grandparents, you had her siblings, which would have been their aunts and uncles. No one checked on these children. So not only were they neglected by mom, but they were neglected by their own family. And that is what hurts more emotional for these children. They're going to need long-term counseling in this case. And what also, this case also highlights the need for a check and balance system within the school system. Because had there been a way or some type of computer notification that these children are not enrolled either in homeschooling or regular school, they would have been found much sooner. And with her receiving these checks, there should have been maybe a monthly welfare check on the children, something. So many systems failed these children.
I swear I didn't watch this video before, y'all. Yeah, they all failed. That's crazy. They're just so sloppy. Why is everybody so sloppy? Go, what's going on, Lottie Marty? Lottie Marty says, all they find, Melody, Buzzard, Body, R.I.P., Melody, you're safe with the Lord now, happy and free from pain. Yeah. Shout out. Thanks for that information, Lottie. Appreciate you.
I hope that the state of Michigan will implement more rules and regulations when you're receiving government assistance in order to check on those who should be assisted.
I love that point, Casey. Thank you for that. Tom, I see you nodding. I know you love that point too. Your thoughts, please.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with Cassia. We had a situation kind of like this in Georgia one time where children were removed from the school system. They weren't going to school. They were they were found dead. It was terrible. But as she mentioned, in this situation, these children were at one point in school. That school received a request to transfer the children's records to another school, but it appears the children actually never went to school after withdrawing from the first school. So we in Georgia actually passed a law to try to improve.
So that's what I wanted to know. I didn't know if they were ever enrolled in school. So they actually went to school before. So they all, like, what the fuck? Maybe she was paying them with some of that money. I don't know. Something.
That process so that if a child drops out of one school, that we are following to see whether or not the child is actually enrolled in homeschool or in another school. It's a really good point that she makes.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, that's awesome. You did that in Georgia. I hope other states follow suit. Gosh, this is horrible. I could talk to you both all day. Great conversation on such a tough story. Goodbye and thank you to you both for your analysis and your expertise. Casey Early, Tom Rawlings, we'll look forward to having you both back here very soon.
I still can't get over the fact that she's out here walking free, y'all. She's out here walking free. She bonded out.
Don't you wish you could make the stress of hosting a webinar magically disappear? With Wistia, you stay cool behind the scenes of your webinar, bringing on presenters, switching layouts, managing Q&A, even presenting preloaded slides. A webinar, host a performance with
Complete confidence. With the power of Wistia, you too can become a webinar wizard. Wistia.
We begin with the fight to revoke communication privileges for the Pontiac mother accused of abandoning her children in deplorable conditions for years. Thank you for joining us for 7 News Detroit at 6. I'm Mike Duffy.
And I'm Whitney Burney. Oakland County Prosecutor Karen McDonald filed a motion to restrict Kelli Bryant's phone access.
Now, Bryant is under a court order to have no contact with her children or her father, who is the caregiver for her children. But the prosecutor's office says that she called her father 10 times between March 8th and 12th, allegedly discussing a criminal case with her children.
7 News Detroit reporter Sarah Michaels has been following this case for us. Tonight, she is learning more from the prosecutor's office and sharing new information in an exclusive interview with Bryant.
It's a very serious crime. It's a very serious crime.
Oakland County Prosecutor Karen McDonald says that she is shocked after learning that 34-year-old Kelli Bryant.
Well, excuse me, miss. If it's so goddamn serious, why the fuck is she out on bond? Again, walking free, charged with welfare fraud, did that to them shorties, left them shorties for 4 years, but she out here getting her nails did, looking good. She thinks looking so fucking fly, so she thinks. If it's that serious, why is she free?
Her children's caregiver 10 times between March 8th and 12th. It is also alleged that Bryant had other inmates call the caregiver for her, a direct violation of Bryant's court orders.
Are you worried that when Miss Bryant made contact with the children's caregiver, she was also able to make contact with her children?
We're absolutely concerned about that. That's why the only way to make sure that doesn't happen is to revoke her telephone privileges.
McDonald's office has now filed a motion seeking to revoke Bryant's communication privileges. Bryant is facing 3 counts of first-degree child abuse for allegedly abandoning 3 of her children, ages 15, 13, and 12, for nearly 5 years. Their children that Bryant's ex-boyfriend, Taekwon Vining, tells me he thought were living with their father. He spoke exclusively to 7 News Detroit over the phone.
Mind-boggling, because you never see no signs and how she talk about her kids and how well-mannered and stuff they is.
She said that her children are well-mannered?
Yeah.
Vining tells me that he was dating Bryant in the months leading.
See, I thought he said that he seen them and they were well-mannered, but that's what she said. That's crazy. Don't you think you would have been like, why don't you ever got your kids? You talk about them a lot, but where are the shorties? Shit. You talk about them an awful lot, but where they be at? Shit.
Her arrest, mother's home, just minutes away from where the children were abandoned. She was working as his grandfather's caregiver.
She was good. She said she didn't like babies no more. She was over that. Her kid's old enough. She don't got to worry about that.
Vining also said that Bryant was close with her dad, who is now the children's caregiver, the person that it is alleged Bryant has been reaching out to. I asked Vining what Bryant said to him after her arrest. He said that she just said, sorry.
That was her fault for leaving them kids in their house.
Now, if prosecutor's motion is granted, Bryant would lose all phone and video communication privileges. In Pontiac, Sarah Michaels, 7 News Detroit.
Okay, Sarah.
See, this is before she was released, and it pisses me off, because when she's released, she has access to whatever the fuck she wants. You can't take shit from her. But you let her out on bond.
Doctors and patients closer together. I am Henry.
I am Henry.
We are Henry. When you found your inner believer and all-around conqueror, you found your Henry.
Calling docket numbers 49 and 50, case numbers 2025-293-649-MC, case number 2025-293-653-FH, the people versus Kelli Bryant.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Your Honor. Nika Bryant on behalf of the people. Thank you, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This is Karen Hongo here on behalf and with Kelli Bryant, present with me in court. Your Honor.
Can you please state your name for the record? Kelli Bryant. Thank you. I have this for a pretrial on both files. The file ending in 649 and the file ending in 653. I did receive a motion to quash that was precipied for hearing yesterday. I've now had an opportunity to review your response, so I'm going to rule on that motion today. I haven't prepared a written opinion in order. My staff attorney will do that, just a brief opinion in order, but I'm very comfortable. I've had an opportunity to review your motion and brief, your response motion and brief, and more importantly for today's decision making, the transcript that was attached. I've had an opportunity to read the entirety of the transcript. So I am respectfully going to be preparing a written opinion denying the defendant's motion to quash. There's no question in the court's mind that to a probable cause standard that the testimony that was presented in front of Judge Walker supported that the crime was committed and that to a probable cause standard she committed it. The issues that you rose specifically with regard to serious mental harm to a probable cause standard.
Myself, how is she standing there with her hair done and her purse nice, out of jail, free, on bond? Listen to her charges. And they're really, when is she going back to court?
Were supported at the district court level. So I'm respectfully finding that Judge Walker did not abuse her discretion and denied the motion. Thank you. All right. Anything that can happen, that's kind of a shift, so you weren't expecting necessarily.
I've been checking the ROA literally up until right now.
So in terms of a meaningful pretrial, I'm assuming you've had at least some conversations. If it goes this way, then, or if it goes
not really on. Yes.
Okay. So should I set it for another pretrial in maybe a week, 2 weeks, to give you an opportunity to talk about the fact that that ruling has been made and the charges stand at the time being?
Yes, and 1 week is no good for me. So if it could be, well, and if it's at 1:30, I just need to check if that's okay.
I think it makes the most sense to conduct this at 1:30.
I had to check. This hearing was 5 months ago. And this is the last update that I can find. So if anybody knows another update, help your girl out. But 5 months ago. 5 months ago. So that would have been in July. I haven't heard anything else since July. Has anybody else? Let your girl know.
Just, I think it makes no sense. Could we have a date at least 2 weeks out at 1:30 to have a meaningful pretrial?
That would be Thursday, July 24th.
Judge, can I just check my calendar?
Yes, please do.
Thank you.
Ms. Mayor, please go check yours as well. Thank you. And then you can both tell me, does this give you enough time? I want it to be meaningful.
I'm just going to tell the court that I think we're going to probably pursue an interlocutory appeal. I just need to talk to Mr. Gonick too. He's out of town this week. So if that's what we're doing, it would not be a meaningful pretrial until.
Did y'all understand what she said? What type of plea? I didn't really understand. I'm gonna run it back, but again, anybody heard an update on this case?
Weeks. I don't know if the court wants to schedule it, and I can let the court know he returns on a meaningful pretrial in 2 weeks. So I don't know if the court wants to schedule it, and I can, if that's what we're doing, he's out of town this week. Pursue an interlocutory. Tell the court that I think we're going to probably pursue an interlocutory appeal. I just need to talk to Mr. Gonick too. He's out of town this week. So if that
An interlocutory appeal or something like that? I'm gonna have to Google that one. Hopefully it can understand me speaking to the phone, because I definitely can't spell that shit. But what? But again, anybody heard an update on this case? Besides this is the last one I've heard. Lottie Mottie coming in through for your girl. According to Google, next trial date is February 26th, 2026. All right, thank you, Lottie Mottie. Thank you. Appreciate you. That's what I'm talking about.
that's what we're doing, it would not be a meaningful pretrial in 2 weeks. So I don't know if the court wants to schedule it, and I can let the court know he returns on tomorrow.
I will set it for a pretrial on July 24th, but out of respect for everybody's time, let us know if you are filing.
Yes, John, and the afternoon is fine on the 24th if we're doing a pretrial.
Let's do.
So what happened on the 24th of July? I'm gonna have to go look. Again, I be on Wayne County most of the time, but I'm gonna have to go down the rabbit hole on Kelli motherfucking monster ass Bryant. Yeah, cause I'm confused. I'm gonna figure it out though.
July 24th at 1:30, please. And a note from pretrial supervision is good, I believe. Let me make sure.
I haven't received anything bad. So.
She's been compliant with her weekly check-ins.
Lottie Mottie says they wanted to remove her charges in July. What? How? Did you see that on a news video, Lottie Mottie? We gonna have to keep looking. That's crazy. How though? How the fuck can they remove the charges? Well, I mean, they did let the bitch out on bond after she was contacting her father when she wasn't supposed to. You look at her fucking purse, y'all. She out here, you know what I'm saying? Like, who fucking, this is crazy.
Did not incur any chief bond, no assaultive conduct, no contact with minors, no contact with minor victims or their caregivers, direct or indirect, home confinement tether except for medical emergencies, court or court-ordered testing, no travel without specific permission of the court, employment if verified, but at this point in time, is she employed?
She's not, Your Honor, and that was going to be one of my questions for the court, because she does need to look for employment, and I just wanted to make sure that if she was to interview somewhere, that she was allowed to go do that. When she comes to my office, we let pretrial services know, and that hasn't been a problem. I just wanted to make sure that if she needed to travel somewhere for an interview for employment, that would be okay with the court.
She can travel for any
court. Lottie says, that's what she in court for with the fancy ass do-gooder lawyer, but she was denied. Oh, yeah, I don't understand. This shit got me blown away. For one, did y'all see? Hold on? Let me show y'all. Hold on. No, hold on. Cause, y'all lucky. Y'all know what that house looked like, right? Them babies, severe mental. First degree. The worst degree you could do to a shorty. And she gets to go look for a fucking job. She gets to rock her fancy fucking purse. Her fucking weave and shit. What? Them babies don't even know how to flush the toilet, y'all. They don't even know how to flush the fucking toilet. But she gets to walk free. Wow.
permission?
Yes, no, that's what we've done, and it's working out so far. They've been good.
We will see you July 24th.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks. Thanks for being on time, ready to go.
Oh, always, yeah.
Smart founders know something most people miss. Get your domain name even if...
Again, that's my gears. The judge said thanks for being on time. And they fucking joke and smile on the way out. Kiki kaka. Bitch. Ooh. I wonder if the shorties know how to laugh. I wonder if the shorties know what funny is. Wow. So that's the last I seen of the update. Lottie Motti says, we heard the judge say the 24th of July. I'm going to have to see if I can find something. But Lottie says the next court date is the 26th of 2026.
Calling People versus Kelli Bryant, case number 250216F1.
This is when she got her bond reduced.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Kanika Ferenczi on behalf of the people.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Cecilia Carantago here on behalf and with Kelli Bryant. She is present from the Oakland County Jail on Zoom, and we have no objection to Zoom, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Bryant. Would you state your name for the record, please?
Kelli Bryant.
Thank you. This is
Does anybody know, is her attorney court appointed or did she pay for her attorney? See, I told y'all, she get to rock her weave, she got her fucking purse. Nah, she should be right there in the motherfucking county. Just like she did them shorties. Locked down.
time and date set that the court scheduled for a defendant's motion to modify the bond and for a reasonable bond. Ms. Carantago, you did submit a supplemental pleading, and just to clarify, it references a letter to the court. There was only one letter that you submitted, correct?
And this morning, so I obtained a letter from a community support that was sent in a separate email to the court, not into the file. And then there was also a letter in regards to the medical condition
I have
that
both
my
of
client
those.
has that was set
I
separate. So
have
there
both
should
of
be one
those.
handwritten. Okay, perfect. All right. Yep. Okay.
Ms.
Yep. There was just the one.
Ms.
letter.
Ferenczi, you received those?
Yes, Your Honor, I received all those documents this morning.
All right. At this point, the court is prepared to review the items that I had mentioned on the prior date, which were those things that I will address or attempt to address, the factors to determine which pretrial release option is appropriate and under what terms and conditions. I had indicated on the prior date, I'm looking at the defendant's, if any, prior criminal record, any record of appearance or non-appearance, any history of substance abuse, mental condition, the seriousness of the offense charged, the employment history, any financial history as it relates to ability to post bail, the availability of a responsible members of the community who would vouch for and monitor the defendant, any facts showing community ties, family relationships, also the length of residence, and any other factors bearing on the risk of appearance or danger to the public. Ms. Kirandongo, anything you wanted to add that the court did not already have at arraignment?
Well, at arraignment, I think pretrial services verified Ms. Bryant's information, but quite frankly, I mean, many of the things that were put in the motion and the supplement were that was added information. I think the court was somewhat concerned about being able to verify the information. I attempted to do that. In the supplement I submitted to the court, I listed all of those factors that the court just mentioned on the record, and listed, I guess what's favorable to my client and what's not, and also how that information was verified. So if the, again, as I had mentioned before, both at arraignment and I think also in the first written motion, good afternoon, Your Honor. Cecilia Kernhago up here on behalf of Kelli Bryant, as can be assumed, Your Honor. We have no objections to assume.
Thank you. Ms. Bryant, would you state your name for the record, please?
Kelly Marie Bryant.
Thank you. Ms. Ferenczi, this was people's motion to restrict communication privileges from the jail.
That's correct. Noted in.
I just seen this, and it's Oakland County, and I want to see why
Now
she was
calling
reduced time and what she did.
2500076, the people of the state of Michigan, Pamela Peterson.
Oh.
Thank you. Good morning, Your Honor.
I see what she did. Yeah, they should have reverted. Yeah, done most definitely.
Kanika Ferenczi for their diligent efforts in this case. At present, we not
Honorable Judge Cynthia Walker. She will be back before her on for a probable cause conference March 4th, 2020.
Hold on, y'all.
Michigan mother is heading to trial, accused of abandoning her 3 children inside a filthy home where they were forced to sleep on pizza boxes. Prosecutors say 34-year-old Kelli Bryant didn't just neglect her children, she sacrificed them. That's the word she allegedly used when speaking to investigators. Pictures show the children lived in a home filled with feces and trash, allegedly communicating with Bryant only through text messages and receiving food about once a week. I'm Kennedy Walker, and I'll walk you through the disturbing details laid out. Police say this is the Michigan home. 3 children were abandoned for years, confined to rooms with mold and human waste.
It's just crushing, soul crushing on so many levels.
Authorities in Oakland County say the children,
Lottie Motti said she can't find nothing on a lawyer. Yeah, I don't understand how her bond was reduced when she's $30,000 welfare fraud. These children, y'all, and this judge let her go.
a 15-year-old boy and 2 girls, ages 12 and 13, were discovered after the family's landlord requested a welfare check. He hadn't heard from their mother, 34-year-old Kelli Bryant, in months. Inside, deputies say they found garbage piled up to 4 feet high. The home was so filthy, officers reportedly had to wear hazmat suits and masks. According to police, the toilet was overflowing. The bathtub was filled with, in the rooms, officials were unlivable. Police allege Bryant left the children alone for nearly 5 years. Investigators also say the boy slept on a mattress. The 2 girls slept on pizza boxes. They survived off weekly food deliveries their mom made, ordered through DoorDash and Instacart, all according to police.
You wouldn't do this to an animal, let alone your child.
The children hadn't been to school since 2020, and investigators say the 2 girls hadn't stepped outside in years.
COVID played a little part in the disconnect potentially with schools and school communications. In 2020, the mother dropped off some trash bags, gloves, and Febreze, and that was about the last thing related to.
Look at you go, Lottie Motti. Lottie Motti said she goes to court December 1st, 2025, fraud charges. A judge grounds, excuse me, wants to terminate Bryant's parental rights, terminate. Good.
Hygiene.
Say their hair was matted, their clothing filthy, and their toenails were so overgrown they struggled to walk. Police.
Listen, it's called Connect Team, and it's insane. I don't do schedules or timesheets manually anymore. And it works? Oh, like you wouldn't believe it. My team puts in their availability, I click auto schedule, and boom, there we go.
Also revealed how the family allegedly communicated. The children reportedly hadn't seen or touched their mother in years and primarily spoke to her through text. Investigators say in her son's phone, Bryant was saved as world's greatest mom. In hers, the children were listed as my oldest, kid 1, and kid 2. Bryant made her first in-person court appearance Friday. Detectives say she admitted to hurting her children and told them she sacrificed them. They also noted what stood out during that initial interview, her appearance.
Her hair was done. She was wearing what appeared to be new clothes that were clean. She had long, fake nails. And to see the contradiction between what I observed all 3 of her children to look in their appearance when I arrived on scene to then see her in her condition was somewhat jarring.
Bryant's defense team argued that because the kids weren't physically harmed,
What? She just gonna show up like, man, she even said, what'd you sacrifice him for? I don't get it. Do y'all think like the kids are with her father? I don't think that's okay. They shouldn't be with her father. You guys can't tell me the father didn't know. I don't know why they're with her father.
It wasn't a child abuse case, but the prosecution pushed back, saying the children were neglected and didn't know how to use a toothbrush or even flush a toilet. The judge ultimately ruled the case can move forward to trial. Bryant previously pleaded not guilty to the child abuse charges and remains held on a $50,000 bond. And joining me to talk more about this is victims' rights lawyer John Phillips. John, thank you so much for today. Let's just jump right in. What a truly disturbing story. When you hear that this mom allegedly left her kids in these conditions for nearly 5 years, what's your initial reaction from a legal standpoint?
Oh, goodness. From a legal standpoint.
But can you put the dad standpoint with the legal standpoint? Legally, in the law's eyes. Just saying. Lottie says no one seems to realize the two girls were the age to have, yeah, that's horrendous for them to have to go through what they must have been terrified. Shit, right. So we know we got to subtract 5 years from each year that we heard. The oldest was 15, so it started when he was 10. Wow. Look at the hog, but you give her bond so she can live life, go work. That part. Puh. $50,000. Big M's in the building. What up, doe? My auntie for life. What's going on with you?
From a humanitarian standpoint, it's just awful. These kids were left in squalor, neglected. Every aspect of this was just unfit for, as a parent, as a human. It's just disgraceful.
And I mean, we're talking about children who were allegedly sleeping on pizza boxes, weren't receiving education, no hygiene. Bryant is charged with 3 counts of first-degree child abuse. How many years is she facing if she is convicted?
Yeah, well, adding the 3 kids, the 3 counts of first degree, I'd have to go back to the exact guidelines, but for her age, it's the equivalent of what would be life in prison. Life as she knows it. It's, I think it's 20 to 20.
So I don't know why anybody who's facing life, dealing with shorties, not only shorties, but they're biological shorties, but is able to bond out of jail and still hasn't been held accountable. Lottie Motti says the father should be prosecuted, aiding, abetting child abuse, neglect to the family too. Nobody should escape. They knew. Yeah, I agree. More people knew. There's no fucking way. And it wasn't like, they were babies. Like, again, the oldest was 15. It was going, and they, what I'm saying? They did live a normal life at some point. You know what I'm saying? And then it abruptly stopped. It wasn't like it just started off like that. Oh, shit. Hold on, y'all. My bad, y'all.
5. I'd have to look exactly, but this is, this would be the equivalent of a life sentence if she's convicted on all 3, and the evidence certainly is overwhelming.
I want to thank Odoo for sponsoring this news package. Odoo is an incredible all-in-one business management software that provides you with a range of applications. One of my favorite Odoo applications is their sales tool. The Kanban pipeline is a game changer. Whether you're working with leads or full-blown opportunities, you can visually track every stage of your sales process. Just drag and drop to move deals forward. It's fast, and honestly, they had not been in
consecutive, which is one on
15 days, 20 to 25 for each count or altogether?
Correct. It would be for each count, and these are 3 individual, humans, so they wouldn't. A judge potentially could run them. You can run them concurrent, which is all at the same time, or consecutive, which is one on top of the other. And again, I'd have to look at the particular state here, but my understanding is these can run consecutive.
Absolutely. And it's clear that these children slip through the cracks. The questions I have are like, where's the dad? Where are their other family members, neighbors? But police say that the extended family, they did not know what was going on. But besides that, the children, they had not been in school since 2020, which was the height of the pandemic, as we all know. How does something like that go unnoticed for so long?
We live in a world where, children are getting sex trafficked, and major hotels have, human trafficking and a host of things going on. So, we miss obvious things. But, when this story first came out, there was a lot of alibis and stories that she came up with to keep the family at bay, to keep them with some level of understanding that, okay, they're with their dad now, or they're here, they're there. That's why they're missing family dinner.
Depo-Provera is a form of hormonal birth control. It's an injection that patients receive.
But again, if you haven't seen your grandchild, if you haven't seen your child, if you haven't seen your cousin in several years, at some point you would think a family member would be like, yeah, but it's been 4 years, and then like I know the neighbors.
Like I said, in 2020 is when they abruptly stopped. Came out. It wasn't like it, when they first were born. You know what I'm saying? They were out here living, going to school, living normal, and then it stopped. So no one was like, hey, where's so-and-so? Where's little Shorty? Where's Shorty at? Crazy.
Some of the neighbors were interviewed and said that they didn't notice really anything going on. But it just, people need to be more diligent and vigilant, about looking out for abuse and things like this. It's just awful.
Absolutely. And just speaking of the schools, with them not being in school for a few years, do you think someone at the school district flagged that earlier, like when attendance dropped, picking up calls?
You would think kids are expected, and the law requires them to go to school. During COVID, there was a lot of transition, there was a lot of homeschooling. There was things that, kids were being held back. There like so much was going on that we didn't stop and have a checks and balances of all these kids when we all started back. It was like, all right, frantic, let's get back going, turn the emergency light back on and let's go. And, you would think there wouldn't be 3 children that got lost in the shuffle and just didn't go back and were living in, squalor where the mom's just having groceries delivered to barely feed her children. Nobody expects stories like this to exist except in horror novels.
Absolutely. But is there any legal obligation, though, for schools or child services to step in when a student vanishes like that?
No, sovereign immunity is different state by state. So, how a municipality can be liable, but there's no affirmative duty for DCF or a school to necessarily go and investigate. Some school districts have, truancy officers and entire police departments, and they might have noticed this. This jurisdiction clearly didn't. And, if anybody gets on here and live day after day, year after year in a home without, sunlight and without, leaving and seeing the light of day, they're better than I am, because it makes no sense how this happened year after year. And all the people, like even the mailman, like how did all of these folks, all the neighbors, all the schools, all the people that handle.
Even the mailman, y'all, right? Good observation. Even the mailman. Y'all don't think it stunk? All that filth and shit, they had to wear hazmat suits when they went in there. Crazy. Prayers for the babies that this monster affected.
Electricity, like whatever it is, how did they all miss this?
Right. And despite all of the evidence that police and the prosecution claim that they have, the defense is already arguing that the children weren't physically or mentally harmed. Does that hold any weight with the judge or jury in this case?
Look, if you have the facts on your side, you argue the facts. If you have the law on your side, you argue the law. If, the old adage is if you don't have either, you just argue. And
she most definitely mentally abused him. Oh, we got Big M in the back. Let me let you up, Big M. Thanks for pulling up. What's going on, Auntie? What's going on, Big M?
What's going on? My bad. I thought we starting at 8 o'clock tonight.
No, my scheduling, you already know. Your girl's working on it.
Yeah. Yeah, but my thing is the neighbors had to know, because they said how that house stink and there was feces all on the wall. How can you not smell that?
Wasn't it an apartment complex?
It was like, like duplexes. They was like side to side. It was like condominiums.
So you mean to tell me them babies didn't make no noise?
And then the guy that was talking to him down the street out through the window, you couldn't smell that when you went to your car?
Was that the one? Wait.
The neighbor said that
didn't she wave?
The little boy ain't told him nice car.
Yeah. Lottie says, Melody find in Utah cause of death. Maternal. I can't pronounce that. Evidence prove mother unalived her. Wayne County can't find. Well, because, Michigan sucks. She's in Utah. Shit. I appreciate that information, Lottie. Let's stay focused. But they're trying, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was the worst. Like, I don't know. Sometimes in a case like this, I feel like severe mentally, like which one's worse, to beat them or to put them through that, I don't think neither one a shorty should ever endure either one. But this is like a severe case of mental abuse, and we don't know if she put her hands on him or not, because they don't even know how to use a toothbrush. They don't know how to flush the toilet. And the boy was 15. And the two girls were 12 and 9, or both 12. I think it was 9, 12, and 15. And then we got to subtract. They ain't been in school for 5 years, because it's 2025 since 2020 from those ages. That's how long they haven't been in school. Then it was said 4 years the mother abandoned them. So that would be 11. I'm not even gonna start to do math. I'm too blowed for this. But we gonna run the clip.
And I think some of that is just they've got to stick with what they've got, that it doesn't fit under the law of child abuse because they were provided for in some fashion. That said, the law requires children to go to school and receive an education and have sanitary places to live and
Provided, wait a minute. Did you hear their toenails? They don't know. Like, what do you mean? This is torture. What? This is fucking torture. Oh, this isn't child abuse because she provided for him. What the fuck do you mean?
That's horrible. You can't smell that.
Man, I could smell it from here.
And then his toenails were so long he couldn't even walk on them.
Man, they can't even brush they didn't even know how to brush their teeth or flush the toilet.
No.
But she provided for him, so she what?
She got the DoorDash, and these kids live through COVID by themselves.
I wonder how they even ate. I mean, like I said, you heard people refer. They said you wouldn't even treat animals like this, right? So what the fuck did they eat off of?
When they said the thing that they don't eat until the brother says time to eat, he tell them to eat and they eat. When they took them to the thing to try to feed them. They wouldn't eat until he gave the nod.
This is my question, y'all. We ain't seen no picture of these shorties. Like, these shorties are like, like, I don't know, maybe protective custody, maybe. I don't know. Do you think, but are they still with the father? Like, I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy. We ain't heard nothing about these shorties.
They're going to have to testify.
What?
They'll have to come and testify.
Do you think they're even going to know how?
I don't know. They're probably training them now, trying to get them ready and everything now.
And did you see the oldest boy had that fucking bitch saved under the greatest mom? I bet you he didn't even do that. That was her bitch ass. I bet you he didn't put that in there.
No.
You know he didn't.
He probably can't even spell.
That's what I'm saying. If they don't know how to brush their teeth or flush the toilet, they definitely don't know how to save a number in a phone. That was that bitch. She saved it under the greatest mom. That's fucking fucked up. She's weird, bro. She's a monster. She's a monster. That's why, at first I was like, nah, but she's a monster. She's got to be she's got to be in this top 10. She's in the top 10 for sure. For sure. Wow. $30,000 in welfare, like what? How the fuck?
And then you're like 5 away from the people you're fighting with your kids. You don't go live with them. You don't bathe them. They haven't bathed in years.
I'm just like looking at this fucking picture. I'm just like, what is?
Yeah, I was saying the same thing. Look at the door. Look at the door.
Yeah, look at the
door
like,
frame.
like it's their hands, from touching it.
From wiping it on the walls.
Man, and like the floor, y'all. Look at the damn floor. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna puke. Lottie, great minds think alike. She said the exact same thing. Look at the door frame. Yeah, that's crazy. Like eating like that. Maybe they're keeping it not down low because the conditions of these, they gotta be fucked up, y'all, because that shit is not good. You can't have that. If you ingest it, you'll get really sick. You could die. if you fall, like say this, I'm just saying, if you got drenched in some shit, if it got in your eyes or if you had a cut, you can die. Yeah. It ain't nothing. And look at their shit everywhere.
Oh, you didn't see nothing once you get downstairs when you see the other stuff. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And listen, y'all, remember, the people who cleaned this motherfucker out had to wear hazmat suits.
Yeah, because it's feces all over the place.
Yeah, these shorties are, what? What? Again, they had to wear hazmat suits. These shorties came up out of there and were living in these conditions. Wow. Diabolical.
Be fed with actually nutritious food, not just delivery and not sleeping on pizza boxes. And so, there's clearly enough to establish child neglect. Is it first degree? I think so, like evidence like the fact that they were saved not by their names, but, kid one. There's just so much that showed that these were just nuisances to her life, and she was spending more time on her own vanity and herself than these children she brought into this world.
If you could just explain more about what the actual law says, though, that the defense is trying to argue about not being physically harmed. Like, what are they trying to argue there? Because no.
And see, this is where all the fuckery comes in, because the law and the terminology and all this why, like that. I don't understand that. And then every state is different. Hey, a crime is a fucking crime, y'all. People be walking off of verbiage because they didn't use the right word, because it's the law. Nah, they gotta fix that shit.
Yep, that goes by because she fed them, she didn't neglect them. She didn't beat them.
Yeah, and then, well, like, so let's just say, for instance, you're, we're in a relationship and we're getting verbally abused. We can't call the popo and be like, hey, but you know what I'm saying? We can't. But if we're getting physically abused in that relationship, we could call. And I feel like that's kind of fucked up. We can't, but, the babies are walking proof. The babies are all they need to do is see the babies in court, in my opinion, to fry her. Just look at the babies. Look at the pictures of their toenails when they were found. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I didn't see the pictures of their toenails.
No, I'm not saying I haven't either. I'm just saying, like, the judge, the people, in this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was texting.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you mean? Like, they're trying to really, and I get it, they're trying to fight, but her charges, this is torture. This is torture. Anybody disagree with me, drop the shit emoji on your girl. And if I'm full of shit, but this is torture. This is torture.
But just think, she's fighting for her life, and she's going to use every tactic she can and go by the law. If you read the laws, especially Michigan laws, they really, really is screwed up.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy. In Michigan, you can break in somebody's house, break your leg, and sue them.
Yeah.
What? Get the fuck out of here.
Maybe she may not have hit them, but, what about just mental or emotional damage? Is that just harder to prove in court?
No, I mean, abuse under the law is defined as both physical, emotional, and mental, but we're so used to thinking of child abuse in the physical.
Let's just take a second. Look at, they're wearing respirators. Wow. But she didn't abuse them, y'all. She didn't abuse the kids. She was a good mom. Yeah, right. Wow. Look at them. Everybody take one more second. Look at them. That's what the shorties came up out of.
You left your 2 daughters and your son in that.
They can't even go in without a mask on.
They had a full hazmat outfit.
Full suit, y'all. We full suit. That means that's not good. That's not fucking good. That's abuse.
Sense or severe emotional sense that atrocities of what happened here aren't as clear by precedent, right? Like this case hasn't happened over and over again, thank God, but it's still within the definition of things that are materially harmful to a child, which is the whole point of the child abuse statute and how it's written. It's not limited to somebody that hits their child, because even if somebody spanks their child, that may or may not be child abuse. If somebody degrades their child for striking out, you shouldn't have done that, but that may or may not be child abuse depending upon how it's done. But from a standpoint of looking at all of the evidence here, there's day after day after day after day, and those are the easiest cases, as whether a victim's advocate or as a prosecutor, to look at and say, okay, this is abuse, because this wasn't one incident that you can say, all right, I had a bad day, or I used too much force on the child's butt. This is systemic and affected their emotional, their physical, and mental health.
Absolutely. And, prosecutors, they did point out that the kids, they didn't even know how to use basic tools for hygiene, allegedly. No idea how to flush a toilet or how to use a toothbrush. How much does that support their case?
Absolutely. We as parents have an obligation to teach our children, how to function in day-to-day life and how to function with other people.
Lottie Motti says, in some countries she be given, yeah, hey, I wouldn't be mad at it. Shit, I ain't gonna cap. I would not be mad at it. I wouldn't want to watch or anything, but I wouldn't lose no sleep over it. Look at all them pizza boxes, y'all. Again, what did the shorties eat off of? Their hands, their hands had to be so dirty. Oh man. Oh man.
They had to be extremely filthy.
Their hair was matted. That's fucking abuse. I don't give a fuck.
Excuse my grandkids in the background.
Oh no, you good. Tell me, you good. We look. Hey, the shorties let the shorties be shorties. She said, that's neutral. What you mean, Lottie? Break it down for your girl. You know. If you know, you know.
Took my kids to a concert this weekend, and they saw people that were acting crazy and acting a fool. And me as a parent, I've said, well, this is how you're not supposed to act, right? But if you keep kids locked up and they have no, the saddest part is these kids outside life, like they had a real life, and then all of a sudden now they're basically in not solitary confinement, but the 3 of them are basically imprisoned in this, in this home, in this.
And that's what I was saying, y'all. They didn't start their life off like this. You know what I'm saying? They lived a life, and then it just abruptly stopped. So that's why I'm kind of thinking, like, how did they not know how to brush their teeth and flush the toilet? Like, I'm scratching my head, y'all, because I mean, is maybe that big of a change at that age? I don't know.
Well, the little
Mental.
girls was young, wasn't they? They were like 3 and 2 when
I
she
think.
left them in the house.
Well, they said the oldest boy was 15. I heard 15, 12, and I think 9. So they hadn't been to school in 5 years. So if we subtract 15 from 5, that's 10.
Hmm.
5 from 12 is 7. And then 5 from 9 would be 4. That's when that's how, I don't know. But I know 5 years from, they said they didn't go to school since 2020, and it's 2025. So then we got to subtract 1 more year. So baby girl was 3, baby girl was 6, and baby boy was 9 since the last time he's been in school. But so the 3-year-old, I understand. I mean, yeah, I understand. It, but the boy, how does he not know how? You know what I'm saying? I get hit him so bad, like,
He probably knew and forgot as
right?
years go on because you're not doing it. Because he probably learned it at a young age, and then as the time went on, if you don't do something on a regular, you forget about it. No one's is telling you to do it, and by a little kid, he probably didn't remember how to do it because it's been so long since he had to do it. Nobody taught him to do it.
Right, that makes sense. That makes sense. And then he couldn't show his little sisters. So.
Sisters.
Right.
But you left this boy with 2 girls, so he's went through his puberty stage. So what is it? What's the dynamic with that?
Right. Yeah, I hope. I mean, again, like you said, and then like them being that age, like she said, they're little girls, y'all. They're little girls. Man, with the boy, leaving them with the little boy. Lottie says he's annoying me with. Excuse me. He's annoying me with.
Like that.
With Life Dad, they have 4, 5. She should be charged with attempted unaliving, and that fool man with her beat her, not got no kids. I do believe I'm with you. I'm with you, Lottie. She should definitely be. This is torture. This is torture. This is neglect. This is abuse. Most definitely. Years. Okay. Oh. Okay. I get you. I get what you're saying now. The rest of it.
This residence, and they were treated worse than what federal and state law requires us to treat our inmates. And so that alone is stuff that prosecutors can certainly present to a jury and a judge, saying, look,
I gotta come off mute and just remind everybody. And she's out free. She's out here on bond, y'all. She's out here rocking her fucking purse and her weave and shit. And her nails. Wow.
look, this is abuse.
Imagine being able to reach 15 million views on the first video of a new YouTube channel with 0 subscribers.
It's just based upon, its systemic nature and the fact that, you parents have an obligation to teach children, like brushing their teeth, right? Like there's other things besides keeping your teeth hygiene clean, keeping your breath fresh. It affects your cardiac health. It affects your digestive system. Like there's so many things that if you're just letting children just rot on the inside, that's just abuse, it's neglect, it's awful.
And just speaking more just about the potential mental abuse there. I mean, here we go. The kids, they hadn't been outside, or, they didn't know to call and get for help? What do you say to that, especially with the son being 15? I know she had daughters that were 12 and 13. The son did have a cell phone. No one's blaming him here, but what do you think made him not call police?
So I have to retract my statement. It was 15, 12, and 13, y'all. My bad. There is no bad, no 9 in there. My bad. I apologize. My bad.
Not call for help, knowing that they were, according to police, being abused.
Victims, get in a mindset where they fear, fear and grooming combined creates the ideal victim. And so you have a child that has a trusting relationship with a parent, and anything, they've been raised by this parent. They look at this parent as doing no wrong and can do no wrong. They don't know the law. They don't know what's supposed to happen. They don't know what's going on with other people. And so, and they don't have access to television and other sources of outside world to be able to say, oh, whoa, that's how it's supposed to happen. So I'm not supposed to be sleeping on a pizza box. So I'm not supposed to be, defecating in a corner. So I'm frankly not supposed to be, all three of us going through, pre-puberty, puberty together in some weird, situation. And so, again, just because the kid has access to the tools, they have to know how to use it, and they have to have something break their trust bond with their, with the perpetrator, with the abuser, that children just don't know to do. A child will stay in an abusive relationship until somebody, pulls them away. Like they don't know that that's not natural or normal.
Right. And we don't know what type of health issues this could have caused or will cause down the line. I mean, the fact that
sick or what sickness they might have got. You know what I'm saying?
to vitamin
Over it and lay out a case that this was both. We're all rolling around
Yo, can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. My shit. Hold on. I gotta plug my computer in. Die.
Don't you hate that?
Hell yeah, I forgot. I was like, oh shit. All right, y'all. Sorry about that. We plugged up. Hold on. Let's get back to it.
You gave me a migraine too. Well, no, the other Jay, like Jay gave me a migraine. Jay Mariah.
Oh, wow. What'd she do?
Don't hear you screaming in the background?
Oh, yeah. Tell her it's gonna be okay. Every little thing.
You about to go home. All right.
All right.
different than the person born in California. If you're born to, parents that are, you're going to be a little different than ones born in a Bernie Sanders or, liberal household. And so that's their bubble. Well, their normal was this, their normal was abuse, their normal was neglect, severe neglect. And, they had some measure by all parts of the story to normal, but what we don't know is how the mom justified this to her kids. It may be that the pandemic ended the world as they know it. Like what was the gain for her doing this other than, money, other than saving money and using on her own. I still don't understand that part of the story. Just was she such a narcissist and so selfish that this was her only option, short of, eliminating the lives of these children?
Definitely a narcissist, y'all. Do you think that, man, I don't know. That's crazy that he just said that about the unaliving of them. You know what I'm saying? Do you think that that was her main goal? Or her not really giving a fuck? I guess shit.
Yeah. Because she was lying to everybody saying they was with the mother, to the father, and then to the father, they with the grandmother.
But let me ask you this. You really think that her father didn't know?
No.
And then,
No.
hold on one second. We got another guest. What's going on, Miss Adventures?
Yo,
Welcome to
yo,
the stage.
yo.
Hi, Miss Adventures.
Hello. Man, I had a million things pop up, and I wanted to catch the story, but I'm here.
Hey, that's all that matters. You're here now. But Miss Adventures, let me ask you a question. Do you think Kelly Bryant's father that has the kids, you think he really didn't know? And then, I'm sure they told him the rules too, that she's not supposed to have any contact, and he was, contacting her. Or talking to her.
She can't have any contact with the kids, right?
And the caregiver.
Oh, but see, I think one of the kids with their daddy. Well, it still wouldn't matter because he got some, at least one of the kids on.
Yeah.
Well, no, wait a minute, Jay. At first, it was just the kids. It wasn't a caregiver. She could talk to her dad, but she couldn't talk to the kids.
Oh, okay. But y'all think her father really didn't know?
Didn't know what?
That, like, about the kids, like, you don't think he scratched his head like, where are my grandkids at?
That's what. See, okay, when the story first broke, from my understanding, she was playing like a switch of the hand, like you know what I'm saying, telling the granddad that the kids were staying with their dad, and telling the dads that the kids were staying with her dad. You get what I'm saying?
Right. That's crazy.
She was tricking everybody. Because in all honesty, I feel like the granddad really did care about those kids because he posted them a lot. He went to their school events. Like he did, he played the role of a granddad.
See, and that's what I don't understand is, like, do you think the trauma from this caused them to, like, because they said that they didn't know how to use toothbrushes or flush a toilet, but they were in school.
They weren't going to school.
But they experienced, well, one
They
of them
had been going
had.
to school since COVID.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy. And she's
So
out
if
here
you think
free.
about it, one of the little girls is 8. So what would that put her at? Like 3?
No,
Like
see, I thought the same thing, but this said that they were 12, 13, and 15.
that sounds familiar. I think
Yeah, I had to retract my statement because I thought there was 9 and we did the math and I had to tell everybody my bad. But yeah, it was 15. So I don't know, like, so, and that's my other point is these kids lived a normal life at a point and it abruptly stopped. You know what I'm saying? It's not like they were born and she was doing this from the day they were born. You know what I'm saying?
But she had already instilled fear in them already.
I believe, yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But
And it's so confounding and horrible.
Right, and that's what the prosecution is arguing, just trying to get down to the bottom of this, because they mentioned that when she came in for her initial interview to be questioned, they were very shocked to see what she looked like, just because of what they found in the home and the conditions of the children. The children allegedly had matted hair, they didn't have any hygiene, there was feces and just horrible things. And when they saw Miss Bryant, they said her hair was done. She had fake nails. She had clothes that seemed to be washed or brand new. So they were just very confused about that. But let's
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
talk about intent. Does the prosecution have to prove that Miss Bryant intended to harm her kids?
Not typically in child abuse, so it just kind of depends.
and see, this is another thing I don't get. They're trying to fight and say that this isn't abuse. This is worse than abuse, in my opinion. This is torture. This is evil.
On the level of the abuse. You don't necessarily, if it's a one-off, if it's a spanking type incident, it depends on the level of damage as to whether you need to prove intent. If you're spanking somebody and you break a bone, you don't have to prove that there was an intent to break the bone. You can show that there was enough damage that that it manifested its own intent. Here, you don't have to prove Miss Bryant's intent to abuse or harm her children. The neglect and the nature of the neglect and the duration of the neglect substitutes for intent. Certainly I think they'll be able to show some level of intent just by the nature of the neglect. The neglect is the intent, because she knew better than that, as humans, we all know that we shouldn't treat animals. You wouldn't treat a den of puppies like she treated her own children. And so there is intent manifested within her own actions and within the nature of the.
That's so sad just to hear. And again, she's out free on bond. These shorties, there's shit all over the walls, y'all. They weren't eating off of nothing. Excuse me. How do you know? They probably ate like animals. Like, they probably didn't even know. Like, this shit is sad as fuck. And she, again, is out on bond, free. Getting her fucking nails did, getting her weave put back in and shit. And I don't know, Lottie Motti looked it up, but I don't, the last time when she took her cool ass to court, I haven't seen another update, and that was 5 months ago. So I don't know, like, there should be more updates in this case.
The neglect, because it's so absurd and obscene. But it's not like a premeditated murder case where they have to prove that she intended or planned to commit neglect. The fact that she did for so long is part and parcel to the crime.
And let's talk about Miss Bryant's alleged statements. We heard in court that Bryant allegedly told police that she sacrificed her children. That's a pretty loaded statement. So how would that hold up in court?
Yeah, you run into some of these cases where there's elements of, so on one end you have kind of people that are religious zealots or have religious beliefs that can go into abuse. That's not really what she's saying here, to my understanding. Two is people that just have levels of mental illness, not insanity, not something that would get you released.
That word is mental illness, which is a big problem. This is pretty insane to me, if you ask me. But This is fucking insane to me.
But levels where you've justified this, whether by perception, meaning you're faking the justification, or reality because you think this is what's in their best interest. And then there's just, again, something so obscene as this, that she's going to, go back to arguing the facts or the law. She's just going to argue. They're just going to say whatever they can to try to diminish the nature and extent of this abuse. And so just saying that this was her way to adequately house and shelter her children. Okay, that's your side of the story. Now the prosecutors and police are going to say,
I don't even know how they have an argument here. Like, the shorties are the evidence in the case right here. The house, again, these people are wearing masks and hazmat suits. These shorties had to, like, their health is probably horrible. Who knows the last time they've been to the doctor? Prayers for them babies, y'all. Prayers for the babies, y'all.
And just think, the girls, they have cycles every month.
That part, man. Even Lottie Marty mentioned that in the comments, man. That's crazy fucking work. Like, these poor babies. Again, prayers for them babies, man. And I wonder if they're still all together.
It's gonna be a movie.
I wonder if they're gonna speak once they get older. Like when Michelle Blair daughter did an interview and stuff. Be crazy, but a lot of them be scared to speak, and I understand why. Shit.
Yep, trauma is real.
Say it again, Big M. Shit.
okay, now let's talk about that. This is something that we know we can't even treat, the simplest of animals, like this. And so, it won't fly very far.
And just moving forward to the trial, how emotional do these types of cases tend to be in court? Do jurors usually get swayed by the conditions? I mean, the photos, they were so horrible to see, but just the photos, the smell descriptions, even the toenail detail, police saying that the children, their toenails were so long that they could barely walk. How do you think that that's going to play out?
Yeah, this is one that, the police are going to be probably the main presenting, witnesses, and go through the conditions and the photos of what they've seen. It may be that they call one of the children, or two or three of the children, but you don't want them up there that long. One, because they're probably going to take their mom's side at some point on cross-examination, because they don't know what the normal conditions are supposed to be, but they certainly can testify and have, to some extent, told investigators about some of the things that they experienced. But again, this was their normal. But these cases get wildly emotional. Anytime you've got a case with a child victim, it's usually a very difficult case for the defense, because as a prosecutor or a victims' rights lawyer, you want as many parents on that jury as possible. And any, even remotely reasonable, remotely caring parent is going to look at this and draw conclusions pretty quick. And, if you try jury cases, you really don't want, justice wants you to draw your conclusions after the end of the evidence.
Man, Oakland County is far away, kind of. It's a long drive, so I probably won't ever see Kelly Bryant. But this shit is crazy. I can't believe she did that. Like, what? She's a monster. And she's walking free. Oh, what the fuck?
How can they even justify this to anybody? Them kids can't take her side on anything. If you see these kids, you see the house, you already know she's guilty. In the amount of years.
If they can't brush their teeth or flush the toilet, how can they get on the stand?
Their toenails were too long, they couldn't even walk.
Right. Like, I really hope they don't make them shorties get on the stand.
Hang an ingrown toenail on your toe. And you don't own it.
I'm probably gonna go Google this, you know me, be weird and shit, and go look, because I'm just trying to imagine, like, they were that long, they couldn't walk. Like, that had to be fucking long.
And it had to be painful.
Right. Like, man, whoa. She is a monster, y'all. She's a fucking monster.
But here, pretty quickly, as soon as those photos start and, children left alone. I mean, we've seen cases where children have been left alone for hours, mere hours, 2 to 3 hours, or allowed to go to the store, and walk past traffic, where there have been, charges of abuse and neglect. This is, obviously, way more than that.
Absolutely. And these kids, they definitely have a long ways to go. So this is a story that we will be following. John, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Kelli Bryant will be going to trial on charges of child abuse and welfare fraud. Prosecutors say she was overpaid nearly $30,000 in benefits and never reported it. For Law and Crime, I'm Kennedy Walker.
Hold on 1 second, y'all. This is I want to try to find. She was supposed to go to trial, or to have something in July, and here we are, December, the 23rd day of it, and again, I haven't seen anything else on this case.
Calling docket numbers 49 and 50, case numbers 2025-293-649-MC, case number 2025-293-653-FH, the people versus Kelli Bryant.
So this is the last update that I have seen. Has anybody else seen one? Lottie Marty said she Googled. She said that there's a trial in February 26th. I haven't got a chance to go look, So, but I'm just wondering if anybody has seen or heard any type of update besides this one. Y'all looking with me. The last 5 months ago. 5 months ago. What's going on with Kelli Bryant, y'all? What the fuck's going on with Kelli Bryant? She's out here free and shit, doing what she wants. And these are some pretty serious fucking not allegations, but what she did to these shorties is really serious, y'all. Why hasn't there been an update? She's just out here living her fucking best life.
The Pontiac mom, accused of abandoning her children for years, is now free on bond. 34-year-old Kelli Bryant was released from jail last night. She faces 3 counts each of child abuse and welfare fraud for allegedly forcing her 3 children to live alone in filthy conditions in this apartment. Authorities say she did not leave basic hygiene products like soap or shampoo with her children. While out on bond, Bryant is not supposed to have any contact.
I utilize technology to bring doctors and patients closer together. I am Henry.
I am Henry.
We are Henry.
When you found your inner believer and all-around conqueror, you found your Henry.
Only on Local 4, the woman accused of leaving her own kids in a Pontiac home for years is finally out of custody after bonding out of jail with a few conditions. It's a story that gained national headlines. Kelli Bryant posted bond today as she faces several charges, including child abuse. Thanks for joining us at 11. I'm Ty Steele.
I'm Kimberly.
Again, this shit grinds my motherfucking gears. Like, what? She's ecstatic. She's smiling. I'm free. What the fuck? You know, she ain't even thinking about her kids. She's thinking about getting her fucking hair did and primped the fuck up and shit. She a monster. You made the fucking list, Kelli Bryant.
Gill on Valentine's Day, her 3 children, ages 15, 13, and 12, were found alone in a Pontiac home. Police say the children have been left alone since at least the year 2021. As Victor Williams shows us, her bond was dropped earlier this year from $250 million to $50,000 back in March.
Yeah, we knew this was potentially coming with such a dramatic bond reduction.
250 milli. Woo! All the way dropped to 50,000. Which 10% of that is what? 5 bands, right? Wow. They don't give a fuck. That's crazy work. How the fuck did her bond get reduced? I wonder how. Ain't no fucking way. Corruption.
They say she couldn't afford it, and by it's being overcrowded, they try to get them out.
What? They could have let the drunk driver, anybody, like what? Like, I'm just blown away. I didn't know her fucking bond was $250 million. That's the highest bond I've ever heard in any case. The highest I've heard is $5 million.
Reduced her bond. From my understanding, they reduced her bond due to the fact that they said it was too high. They said, like, basically the judge overstepped her boundaries, is what I was getting from it.
Well, because like I just said, 250 million, I've never heard that. That's high.
Yeah, and they were just trying to say that it wasn't like, what's the word? Like the judge was showing biasness. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just did switch, basically.
250 million in my eyes means no bond.
I mean, you don't need to get out.
That part, so the judge fucked up with her verbiage. She should have just said no fucking bond, but she had to say 250 million.
But I want to say it was like due to the fact that she had never been in from my understanding, and I'm still kind of fuzzy on this because last time I looked at this case was back when it happened. But I think she had never been in any legal trouble, and I don't know. I feel like they should have set a precedent for her ass. Like, I feel like somewhere you got to take a stance that this shit will not be tolerated. Case in point, the other lady that got arrested for it.
Miss Ventures, and then listen, there was another couple in Pontiac. It was a man and a stepwoman, and they did the same fucking thing. It just happened in Pontiac a month ago.
Yeah, that shit weird.
I'm gonna play it at the end and show y'all the two other to end this with something's wrong. Something's wrong.
They should have set that. They should have left that bond where it was at. To again set precedent to let them know this shit will not be tolerated, and it will not be.
Amen. Instead, they had to lower it. See, that's some bullshit. It's like you said, set a precedent. Like what? Because again, I did not know her bond was that high. I did not until just now.
Like I remember watching this like as it was in live. You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, I'm thinking in my head 250,000.
Oh hell, she said Millie.
Yes.
Dang, I ain't never. That's that no bond.
It was a black lady judge. She wasn't bullshit.
I know she was the older one. She was again. Shout out to her, but damn, you could have just said no bond. Now Kelly out here walking free, fucking getting her nails done and shit. He's like shit, but I shout out to you.
I would feel like you are a menace to society because if you would do your own kids like that, baby, I don't know what you would do.
You
Did you go out? Did I go out? Oh.
Oh, my bad. I was on mute, but I was saying, if y'all see Kelly, do not let her babysit for nothing. Don't man. She's definitely a danger to society. Big M, I seen you come off mute. Did you want to say something? Okay. All right, I'm gonna roll the clip.
Damn, I wish you could mute my thing. My hands wet.
Hold on. Let me see if I can. I think I might be able to. Yep, I can mute you. I got you, Professor.
We're talking about from $250 million all the way down to $50,000. It was only a matter of time. Kelli Bryant walking out of the Oakland County Jail, finally free after spending over 100 days behind bars for allegedly leaving her 15, 13, and 12-year-old kids at home for years in the worst of conditions. Oakland County prosecutor Karen.
Again, I want to point this out again. Look at the shit smears on the wall. So, that's from their hands. And it looks like as the years progressed, the taller they got, it went up the wall. Crazy fucking work. This is sad. I really, if she was trying to contact, the kids and the caregiver, you think she you think she's not trying to contact the kids or manipulate them?
Of course she is.
Cause they're not fucking doing they obviously don't give a fuck. So it's not like they're monitoring it. If she gets caught type shit. You know how it is in the D.
And she got nerves to have a shampoo carpet cleaner right there.
That's crazy work.
She got nerves to have a carpet cleaner.
I want to bust her in the head with that carpet cleaner. My soul.
McDonald talking about the severity of the situation when Brian was first charged.
The children were afraid to come out of their hiding places and to speak with the police. Police had to repeatedly advise the children that they were there to help and they were safe. The children's bodies.
See, my thing is I don't think just being left up, maybe, I don't know, but for them to be that fucking terrified, I don't know, y'all. I feel like she fucking had to fucking drill them and scream at them or something. She didn't just, I don't think just the abandonment made them that scared. That's just my opinion though.
And clothing were covered in feces and the girls had difficulty physically walking outside of the residence.
Per the conditions of her bond, she's not supposed to have any contact with the victims of the case. That's including physical contact or anything digital. There are some concerns, however, over if Bryant will attempt. Back in March, she had her communication privileges revoked when Prosecutor McDonald says she tried contacting the caregiver of the children. Here's an attorney for the prosecution handling that matter.
Your Honor, my concern is two.
Gotta come off mute. How the fuck can you even smile? Like, what? I can't. You're a monster. You're a monster.
First, that Ms. Bryant defied the court's order on 37/2025 with the no contact, but also is now circumventing Oakland County Jail's rules and having other inmates contact on her behalf.
Bryant's lawyer says she was unaware that she couldn't call the children's caregiver and that no one received a written copy of the court's no contact order. Regardless, from now
See, and this is what it comes down to the law. Oh, well, I didn't know I couldn't contact the caregiver. They're in direct care of the shorties. Like, it's common sense. But, of course, they got to, challenge the system. Like, you fucking knew, bitch. How else are you supposed to contact shorties that don't know how to brush their teeth or use the bathroom? Through their caregiver, right?
Not only that, if you didn't know, why the fuck was you having other inmates doing it? Why you wasn't doing it right out?
That part, right, that part. Man, you knew, you fucking knew. You knew better. And that alone right there. Good point, Miss Adventures.
on, absolutely no contact with the kids or anyone under the age of 18. No returning to the address where the children were left or where they currently are living with family. Now, if any of these conditions are violated, then Bryant can be taken into custody, and that's without a warrant. Live tonight, Victor Williams, Local 4.
So, Victor, before you go, how will cops keep tabs on Bryant? I'm assuming a GPS tether.
Yeah, she is going to have to wear a GPS tether, and just like that, they're going to know exactly where she is at all times.
Yeah, okay. We appreciate it. Victor Williams reporting for us tonight.
I lost $50,000 because...
Ms. Karen Dongo, did you need to speak to your client at all before I call the case?
No, Your Honor, I've met with her multiple times. I saw her this morning, too.
Okay, very good. Calling People versus Kelli Marie Bryant, case number 250216FY.
And good afternoon, Your Honor. Cecilia Karen Dongo, up here on behalf and with Kelli Bryant. Your Honor, she's present from the Oakland County Jail via Zoom. We have no objection to Zoom.
Ms. Bryant, can you state your name for the record, please?
Kelli Bryant.
Okay. Is that Ms. Bryant's hand in front of her face? Or
Okay,
thank you. This is the time and date set for a probable cause conference on the 3 counts of first-degree child abuse. Ms. Karen Dongo, how did you want to proceed?
This is when her bond gets dropped. I want to see why, and then again, I just don't understand how she can be free. I can't say it again enough. I'm gonna say it again. How is she out here walking free? What the fuck?
Your Honor, I've had extensive conversations with Ms. Bryant as well as with Ms. Ferenczi. At this time, I'm in receipt of, I want to call it partial discovery. I have the written initial police report, which is, there's apparently a supplement that will be available for me today. And also I have the children's interviews. I was provided with those yesterday. I don't have anything else. There are terabytes of electronic discovery that is going to be provided to me on the external hard drive that I provided to the prosecutor's office. So we're asking you to adjourn the probable cause conference so we can have all the discovery. I think it's paramount in this case, Your Honor.
Can you pull something off the printer, please? Thank you. All right. And you discussed the 21 days with Ms. Bryant.
I did, Your Honor. She understands that she has a right to have her preliminary examination within 21 days. It's impossible in this case. If we're
Miss Adventure, do you know if she paid for this lawyer or if it's appointed?
I can't remember.
All right.
I think it's court appointed.
Yeah, it's crazy work.
going to provide her with effective assistance of counsel, and I think she understands and appreciates that. Our next court date would be set outside of that. She's not waiving her right to the preliminary examination, just to have it, I guess, at this time within the next week. And she's in agreement, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. I will note that the 21 days is waived, not the right to the exam, but the right to have it within 21 days. I understand that there are still discovery issues pending. Before we get to the date, defense did file a couple of motions, and I will deal with those this afternoon as well. One was a motion to restrain pretrial publicity. I did receive and review the motion as well as the briefs. Any comment from either side as to that?
I utilize technology to bring doctors and patients closer together. I am Henry.
I am Henry.
We are Henry.
When you found your inner believer and all-around conqueror, you found your Henry.
Your Honor.
So that first motion, they're trying to file like no cameras or no media on the case. I just heard the word publicity.
Just ever so briefly in response to some of the things that the people were putting in their response or their objection to my motion. There's a lot of information that's already public information, meaning the court proceedings are open to anyone, certainly to the media. There's the register of actions that are public. There's a lot of public information. There's also already a lot of information that's been disseminated via social media and the Oakland County Prosecutor's Office. The issue I'm having is that the Oakland County Prosecutor's Office disseminated information that really is confidential information that they had me sign a protective order for before I could receive it, which included the children's interview. They also requested initially that I sign.
Wait a minute, I'm confused. I didn't see no interview. I never even seen the kids. I don't even know their names. I only know their ages, which I had to retract one of them. So I'm super confused.
They did have an interview with her. Her interrogation was on, I think, online.
Who's the kids?
No, the mothers.
Oh no. Okay.
I seen one of her interrogations online. I did see pictures of the kids though, but it wasn't on no. What do you call that? Like legal website or nothing. I was just lurking harder than a bitch.
Wait a minute. What they? Oh man, you see, that's crazy. How old were they in the pictures you saw?
Remember I told you the granddad used to post them all the time?
Oh yeah, yep, you sure did.
School pictures, programs, like they were smart kids when they were attending school because they were always receiving accolades.
So, Miss Inventors, you just said that. So, hold on, I got it. So you say that, and then for that to abruptly stop, you don't think the grandfather, how did he not know? Something's wrong with your mic.
I just Google her. She's out of legal services in Bloomfield.
She's court appointed or no?
Court appointed.
Oh, okay. Thank you for the work, Big M. Miss Adventures, you might have to come back in. We can't hear you and you were all staticky.
That means she had some gems she was trying to drop.
Oh yeah. How you already know. You know how it go. She'll be back.
That I signed an agreement to not disseminate anything of discovery nature to anyone, including my client. And I declined to sign that. But so they've asked me basically to not talk about this case or share it with anyone. But at the same time, I'm saying that this is in the public interest. I don't think it's in the public interest to disseminate evidence.
As a lawyer, you're not supposed to talk to anybody about the case. What? These people.
That hasn't been admitted into court, and I don't think it's in the children's interest to disseminate any of that. The public can certainly be kept informed via the media when we have court proceedings, as well as, what the public can look up on the public register of actions from court. So I don't see any public interest in the prosecutor's office continuing to hold press conferences and talk about this case, and, including the Oakland County Sheriff.
Well, as much as griping as they did, congratulations, because this case didn't get any publicity. There's not much on it. You got to go digging yourself, or go. It's crazy work. Crazy work. Again, I have not seen an update since 5 months ago. That would have been in July when she was all primped the fuck up with that little fucking Percy purse of hers and shit.
Sheriff's office, which many of those deputies and detectives are assigned to this case. They're witnesses in this case, and the Oakland County Sheriff's Office continue to talk to the public about this case. I was especially disturbed by the fact that what looks to
Somebody please send me them videos, cause where? We just seen the house get cleaned the fuck out. We seen motherfuckers in hazmat suits and shit. What you mean? I'm confused. For sure.
be a body cam from one of the deputies that were in the home has been disseminated all over social media before we've even had any kind of court proceeding. So I do think it's a proper motion. I'm asking that you grant it.
All right, Ms. Ferenczi.
Thank you, Your Honor. I do just want to respond briefly to both Ms. Karen Dongo's statements today and also her motion. I do want to be clear. Oakland County Prosecutor Karen McDonald held one press conference on February 19, 2025, after Ms. Bryant was formally charged. In that press conference, Prosecutor McDonald confined her statements to the already public information from the square to that morning. Prosecutor McDonald has not made any public statements about this case that has any potential to deny Ms. Bryant her constitutional rights. The statement about the video, I am not aware of what video Ms. Karen Donald is speaking of. From my understanding, we live in a social media era right now, and information and misinformation spreads very quickly. We did get reports that individuals in our community, not part of law enforcement, made unauthorized entry of the residents at issue in this case, and did record videos, take photographs, and posted their findings on social media that did have high views. And Your Honor, that vigilante activity does create a dangerous precedent and the potential of widespread distribution of misinformation. And Your Honor, I do believe that a gag order would prevent the prosecutor the ability to correct any sort of misinformation. This case has drawn a lot of public outcry, and a lot of that public outcry predated law enforcement's presentation of this case to the Oakland County Prosecutor's Office requesting charges. And the reason of that outcry is because the welfare of our community's children is a vital social movement. And the facts of this case squarely involve allegations of egregious harm to children. And Prosecutor McDonald has a duty to comply with the Michigan Rules of Professional Conduct. MRPC 3.6 and 3.8 expressly recognize that the public has an interest in and a right to know about cases as such. The prosecutor was acting within her authority and in good faith in making already public statements during the February 19th press conference. The issues that Ms. Carandongo brings up about this misinformation is the sole reason why it is important for the prosecutor's office to be able to check the misinformation and provide accurate information of what is happening in this case. The public has a right to be precisely and accurately informed about its vital social interests in the systems that are responsible for keeping our children safe, Your Honor. And I respectfully request on behalf of the victims and the citizens of Oakland County that the court deny the defendant's motion, Your Honor. Thank you.
As I indicated, I did review both the motion and the briefs that were attached. And the court did review MCR 8.116D1 to evaluate whether a restriction on information or a gag order prohibiting discussion of the case with the media, whether that would be appropriate. And as you're all aware, the Michigan Court of Appeals has indicated that an overbroad or vague gag order constitutes a prior restraint on freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and freedom of the press. So this court would have to determine that the interest to be protected outweighs the right of access. Denial of access would have to be narrowly tailored to accommodate the interest to be protected, listing the specific reasons for limiting access. The initial charges against the defendant have already been presented. The prosecutor has held a press conference, which was prior to the date of the arraignment. We are now at the probable cause stage, so it would appear that there should be no further need for such similar press conferences during the pendency of the case. A gag order, in this court's opinion, would be inconsistent with law, Michigan Rules of Professional Conduct.
So I'm confused. So no gag order, but the press can't talk about it?
Conduct and the public interest. The Michigan Rules of Professional Conduct do provide guidance in this area, and those rules do permit a prosecutor to make statements that are necessary to inform the public of the nature and extent of the prosecutor's action and that serve a legitimate law enforcement purpose. The February 19th press conference that was referenced in the motion and the response was actually prior to the arraignment, which was February 20th. Now, massive, pervasive, and prejudicial publicity has been ruled in cases to interfere with an individual's right to a fair trial, but the mere existence of pretrial publicity does not automatically deprive the defendant or the prosecution of a fair trial. There are court rules and jury instructions that can provide protection in these areas. So while this court will not be imposing a gag order, I'm simply instructing the parties to comply with Michigan Rules of Professional Conduct and court rules during the pendency of this case. But should there come a point, while this case is within the jurisdiction of the district court, where there's a massive, pervasive, and prejudicial round of publicity, this court will review the issue and make the appropriate determination at that time. At present, defendant's motion to restrain pretrial publicity is denied. Now, the defendant has been charged with 3 counts of first-degree child abuse, which carries a maximum penalty of life. The defendant is still, however, presumed innocent until proven guilty, and that brings us to defendant's next motion, which was a motion for reasonable bond.
This monster is looking at life. No bond. This is the problem. This is why there's 2 more stories in Pontiac that are identical to this story.
Yes. And to answer your question, they didn't put a gag order on it.
No, yeah, I spoke too soon. Sometimes I do that. I gotta sometimes just let it listen.
It's not a story for the press right now, so that's why they're not talking about it.
Right, which is crazy. I mean, definitely we need awareness about this because again, I have not heard any update since 5 months ago.
Moving to the next tragedy.
Right, this is crazy work. She's a monster. She made the list for sure.
And in America.
I did, for the record, have a brief bench conference with both attorneys as to that motion. And the court is willing to do an evaluation of appropriate pretrial release conditions. The things that the court has to consider is the defendant's prior criminal record, if any record of appearance or non-appearance or flight to avoid prosecution, any history of substance abuse or addiction, the defendant's mental condition, including character and reputation for being dangerous, the seriousness of the offense charged and the probability of conviction and likely sentence, any employment history, status, and financial history as they relate to the ability to post bail, the availability of a responsible member or members of the community who would vouch for and monitor the defendant if released, ties to the community, including family ties and relationships, and the length of residence, and any other facts bearing on the appearance or danger to the public. So the standard at this point is not abuse of discretion, but the court is willing to review the issues related to pretrial release in detail. We would not be able to do that today because of the other cases that are scheduled. However, if both parties are available, I am willing to do that on Friday so we don't have an unnecessary delay. I do understand that we will have to adjourn the probable cause conference. Will this
They're like, this is crazy.
Friday at noon work for both parties?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
That will be on at noon, and that will be the motion for a reasonable bond, where the court will review it and make specific findings as to that. In the meantime, I've noted the 21 days is waived. We'll set the adjourned probable cause conference to Tuesday, April 15th. That will be at 2 p.m. For today's purposes, bond will be continued, but I will address it on Friday.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, anything else for the record on this case today?
Your Honor, will the motion hearing be held via Zoom?
It will be via Zoom, yes.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're all set. Bond is continued for today. Thank you.
Our commitments are what shape our lives. They're what make you.
The Pontiac mother accused of abandoning her 3 children home alone in horrific conditions for years, appearing in court today. Our Jordan Burrows, he joins us now live from the 50th District Court in Pontiac. Jordan, what's the latest?
Lauren literally just left the 50th District Court right now, and I can't really downplay just how disgusted Honorable Rhonda Gross was with the alleged actions of the mother, Kelli Bryant. She set Kelli Bryant's bond at $250 million. And she says if Bryant is able to pay that bond, she is not allowed to have any communications with her family. You're now looking at the mugshot they were able to get of Kelli Bryant. She is 34 years old, and she is
I'm gonna say shout out to that judge. Shout out to you, but you fucked up with the 250 million, yo. You could have just said no bond. They no bond, but man, shout out to you for trying to set a, trying to set the mood. But you tried, and I'm not mad at you. But yeah, 250 million, y'all. I ain't never heard bond that high. But I agree. Shit, I'm with you.
Facing 3 charges, that is 3 counts of first-degree child abuse. She allegedly neglected her children in her home for years. What you're looking at now, or about to look at too, these images are graphic, but these depict the living conditions that Kelli Bryant's 3 children were allegedly living in. The living conditions of a 15-year-old boy and a 13 and 12-year-old girl. Mold, human waste throughout the house, garbage piled as high as 4 feet. We heard overflowing toilets. Even the deputies said that the children reportedly were covered in feces. This happened back on Valentine's Day on a house on Lydia Lane in Pontiac after a landlord had called deputies to check in on them. We heard from them that Kelli Bryant hadn't checked in with the landlord since December, hadn't paid rent since October. Here is what the Honorable Judge Rhonda Gross had to say in court today.
My first knee-jerk reaction was to deny her bond. However, because I find her acute danger, I find her a continued danger to the children. My main concern is, I don't know who, if anyone.
Damn, I wanted to see her face. They won't show her face. You should have just no bond, but it's cool. Let's see what she says. Judge Rhonda something Gross. Judge Gross.
Children have been given to. If it is a family member, I'm concerned that she still may have contact with a family member from the jail with instructions to continue to engage in fear tactics to forbid the children from cooperating with authorities in their continued investigation in this matter.
If Bryant is found guilty on all 3 counts of first-degree child abuse, she could face up to life in prison. According to the Honorable Rhonda Gross, her next court date is set for March 11th at 9 a.m., the probable cause conference here at the 50th District Court in Pontiac. Reporting live in Pontiac, George.
Continued investigation in this matter. May have contact with a family member from any danger to the children. My main concern is
the Honorable Judge Rhonda Gross had to say in court today.
My first knee-jerk reaction was to deny her bond. However, because I find her acute danger, I find her a continued danger to the children. My main concern is, I don't know who, if anyone, that the children have been given to. If it is a family member, I'm concerned that she still may have contact with a family member from the jail with instructions to continue to engage in fear tactics to forbid the children from cooperating with authorities in their continued investigation.
Well, the judge, you were right, because she got her privileges taken away because she was definitely trying to contact the children and the caretaker and having inmates contact them for her. So you were right on the nose. So you should have just said no bond, because now she's out here free. And you can't tell me she hasn't had no contact with them babies. Look what she was doing in jail. You were right, Judge, but they called you biased, and they lowered her shit to $50,000 from $250 million, not $250,000, $250 million. And 5% of 50,000 is 5 bands. Wow. Wow. And she is out here for y'all. Y'all seen that fucking house, right? Y'all seen the conditions. Prayers.
If Bryant is found guilty on all 3 counts of first-degree child abuse, she could face up to life in prison. According to the Honorable Rhonda Gross, her next court date is set for March 11th at 9 a.m., the probable cause conference here at the 50th District Court in Pontiac. Reporting live in Pontiac, Jordan Burroughs, CBS News, Detroit.
Yeah, hard not to be disturbed just knowing the little that we know. Can't imagine what those kids went through. Thank you, Jordan.
In criminal court is so stunning and so sickening, we struggle to find the appropriate words to even talk about it. And I'm feeling this way about the child abuse case in Michigan, where a mother is accused of leaving her children alone in a house of revolting biohazardous conditions for.
What a great word, revolting. Woo! That is definitely describes that house for sure. But she out here walking free, y'all.
For years. That's right, alone in filth and squalor for years. Minor children. Children who deserved to be loved. Children who deserved to be protected. They had to sleep on pizza boxes. They had trouble walking because their toenails were so long. And when they were rescued, they didn't understand how to brush their teeth or how to flush the toilet. How did this happen, you wonder? The answer boils my blood. Fear. Investigators say that this mother put her kids that she.
And see, that's what I was saying, y'all. Like, there's no way just the abandonment part did this to these shorties. Ain't no motherfucking way. So, just abandoning your children is not gonna install the type of fear they're describing. Like, they were so afraid to even come out, y'all.
Abandoned in so much fear that they were afraid of what she would do to them if they left that filthy house. When I heard this, I found my words. This rotten, sorry excuse for a mother who allegedly abused her children so severely needs to have some fear put into her. She needs to be in fear of never seeing the light of day. Anybody who abandons their kids.
Hey, shout out to you. Shout out to you. I agree. I'm with you. I'm all the way with you. She needs some BTA. Motherfucking belt to the ass, y'all. BTA.
For sure.
Man, belt to the ass, for sure.
Like her passionate. She was real passionate about that.
Man, and yes, I could feel her passion.
Dude, you felt that. I felt her. She felt
Dude,
that.
she was getting me fired up. I was about to. She's getting me. I started rocking this shit. I said, "Oh dang, yeah." The spirit is crazy.
Give me 5 minutes with it, then, lady.
Hey, man, that part. But again, she is definitely passionate about this. She said, "You rotten, sorry excuse for a mother." Woo! She man, her veins are popping out and shit. Again, she got me rocking. She get me fired up just watching her. Shout out to you.
And I'm just enjoying it.
And shout out to her for real though.
Okay.
And forces them to live in filth deserves the harshest penalty the law allows. You know, it's cases like this one, my friends, that make me wish we had eye for an eye punishment. I pray that those kids can heal from their trauma. I pray that they'll now be placed in a loving home. And I pray that somebody throws away the key after the person or persons responsible, in this case, are locked up for life. That's my opening statement. Let me know if you like it. Right now, it's time for your daily docket. You know, sometimes there are
As passionate as you may have been, my friend, Kelly Bryant's out here walking free, you know. So I bet you're probably really upset about that. If you know, crazy work.
It's so easy to become a podcaster with Riverside. You just need a concept and a way to record it. Here's how it works. First, go to riverside.fm.
Your Honor, and I did discuss it with my client.
Okay, all right.
I am, yes.
Okay, and have you read and reviewed that?
I did do that in the breakout room, Your Honor. Sorry, there's a lot of feedback, I think, from the jail screen. I think that's our problem right now.
Yeah, our problem is
But yes,
from the
I
jail
did review
screen.
it and I talked to her.
Okay, all right, so, they're recommending, release with conditions in this matter. So we're gonna go from there. We have the PCC date. I'm gonna have you speak to bond, and then I'll make my decision as to bond. And I'll also have prosecution, speak to bond. Ms. Carragano, you're asking the court to accept the recommendation as provided by pretrial services?
I am, Your Honor. MCR 6.106, if you go through those conditions, provide that a personal recognizance bond with any conditions should be provided unless Ms. Bryant fell under some of the very specified exceptions to a personal bond that are listed. The court can also provide a cash bond if the court finds that Ms. Bryant is either a risk to the community or a flight risk. This particular case is serious, and we're not denying that it's a very serious case. However, I don't believe that the facts and circumstances of the case give any indication that Ms. Bryant is a risk to the community at large. In addition to that, there is no indication that Ms. Bryant is a flight risk.
Is it just me, or is she talking all fast? Because that's not my audio, y'all. That's the video I'm playing, just so y'all know.
She's a lifelong resident of the county. She was residing within the city limits of this community. She, was employed and she has ties to the community. In speaking to her, she also is asking that the court consider a tether, which could be part of a bond if the people had any concerns that she posed a flight risk. I do think, the recommendation from pretrial services in line with the Michigan court rules, understanding that it is a very serious offense, but the court rules are what they are, and they do provide that Ms. Bryant should be released on a personal bond with conditions, so that's what I'm asking the court to do.
Ms. Green, would you like to address the court regarding bond in this matter?
Thank you, Your Honor. I did have the opportunity to look at the pretrial services.
She's asking for a personal recognizance bond, a PR bond. Are you fucking kidding me? What? The lawyer must not have seen them pictures of that house, y'all. Crazy work.
But see, that's what I was trying to explain to you. Everything that lawyer just said about is certain parameters that you go, like how you just sit up here talking about it should have been no bond. There wasn't an option because she did. I really want to say she didn't have a criminal past. She had strong, like they didn't have grounds to do that is what the issue was. Because
Okay, right, that makes
although
sense.
she was a horrible person and she should be in jail, like the kids were still alive. You know what I'm saying? It was like
Right, they had to follow the law.
right. But the judge was really trying to sneak one in. It was like how can I put it? Although they went back on the judge bond, she really made her sit longer. You get what I'm saying? So she did what she could do.
Oh yeah, because she did sit for a minute. She sat for a grip. So
100 days.
Yeah, 100 days. That's a long time to do in the county for sure.
Right.
So
So the judge did what she could do by all means.
Oh yeah,
But
so shout out to her for real. She said 250 million. We're about to hear it. I had to hear it. I found the video.
mute me up. My hand's still wet. I wish you could unmute me. That's why I've been saying that because my while ago my phone was going dead. That's
Well,
why I kept saying, "What's the noise?"
I'll periodically unmute you just to see if you want to say
Well,
something.
if you no, I got my AirPod in. If you asking me a question, just unmute me.
All right, I got you. All right, let's hear the judge say it. 250 million, y'all. Shout out to her. Shit, she was playing chess. I give it to her.
Report. I know, Your Honor, just swear to facts yesterday and that those are fresh in your
One
memory.
moment,
So I
please.
will
I'm going
not.
to mute the jail. I'm going to mute the jail camera. And go ahead, Ms. Green.
Thank you. I did have the opportunity to review the pretrial services report. I know that Your Honor just listened to the swear to facts yesterday, and I'm sure that those are fresh in your memory. I am requesting in this case, I do agree with Ms. Kirandango regarding MCR 6.106 to the extent that you may not deny bond, but this court has the authority to put in place a high cash bond with conditions. And I believe that it appears that Ms. Bryant is not employed and that her resident status may be transient. So I consider her, and I think that the facts of this case portray her as a potential flight risk, and that there are 3 victims in this case that she should absolutely be prohibited from having contact with. So I'd ask that the court add a specific no contact provision as it relates to the 3 minor victims in this case. And if the court would like me to go on, I can.
No. What I found very suspicious in the report for pretrial services, there's 2 different addresses given to her. So I agree with you, Ms. Green, that one could opine that she's transient. She's from here, she's from there. We don't know where she resides. I do find her an acute risk and danger to the community and to any minor children under the age of 18, let alone the 3 minor children that she is a mother to. With that in mind, I agree with Ms. Karagongo. I cannot deny her bond. That is.
She is a huge risk to society, not an acute. A huge, y'all, huge. Watch out for Kelli Bryant. If you in Oakland County or wherever she may fucking be, who fucking knows? But watch out for her. She's a monster.
Court, of course, my first knee-jerk reaction was to deny her bond. However, because I find her acute danger, I find her a continued danger to the children. My main concern is, I don't know who, if anyone, that the children have been given to. If it is a family member, I'm concerned that she still may have contact with the family member from the jail with instructions to continue to engage in the fear tactics to forbid the children from cooperating with authorities in their continued investigation in this matter. For that reason alone, I'm giving her a $250 million bond in this matter, cash only.
Woo! She said cash money, y'all. Motherfucking cash only. She said, I can't deny you, but hey, cash motherfucking only. Damn. We gonna run it back one more time. I gotta hear it because that was great. But you know, she is out here walking free. She did do 100 days.
I'm giving her a $250 million bond in this matter, cash only. The other aspects, should she post said bond, she is not to have any contact with these children by family members, third-party agents, or friends. So, Ms. Bryant, I want you to understand, any phone calls from the jail, should you're unable to post this bond, is recorded. Should the court find out that you are sending messages to engage in further fear tactics and intimidation of the children.
So here's my question, y'all. I'm gonna unmute you, Miss Adventures, if you want to say something. But here's my question. So this is before she made any contact or tried to. So, in my opinion, she got her communication privileges taken away, but that was a violation of her bond in jail. So to still give her that low of a bond.
Am I unmuted?
Yeah, you're unmuted.
Because you gotta lose. It's when they come down to this legal shit, everything in what you say is they record everything and type everything down. That judge didn't say she couldn't contact the caregiver, so you making it seem so because she didn't specify when she said that, and she only said the kids, you can kind of. I'm not saying by any means that any of this shit is right, but you get what I'm saying.
No, I'm picking up what you're laying down. I'm picking up exactly what you're laying down, and that just sucks.
So
Like,
she was able to finesse the system, for lack of better words.
yeah, because it comes down to verbiage, and when it comes down to this
Yeah,
legal shit, you better be real, really,
you
really
gotta
ready.
be specific. That
Hey,
remind me of man. That just remind me of life. Like you gotta be specific what you say. I'll never forget when my oldest son was starting to clean up the kitchen, and I'd be like, "Get in there and wash them dishes." And I come in here, and my motherfucking cabinets will still be dirty, and stove still be dirty. I'm like, I told you. You said wash the dishes. You didn't say nothing about the counter. So that always has put me on the path of be very, very specific in everything that I say.
hey, and amen. I am with you on that one. I'm standing on that with you. You got to, especially in this world in 2026, coming up in about 8 days, y'all. We got to be.
Yes, with recordings and lives and things so much at people's fingertips, they gonna run the tape back on you. You ain't say that.
Hey, you ain't. Hey, say it again. This shit's crazy work. It really is. It's crazy work. In the court of law, it's not about what you can prove. It's not about right or wrong. My
It's what
bad.
you can prove.
My bad. You already know it's the garden, but
It's okay.
it's not about right or wrong. Like you seen Law Abiding Citizen. That movie I love that movie, and it's about what you can prove. It's not about exactly what you said. We all know she's a monster. She shouldn't be out here,
Mhm.
and it sucks. But in the words that were used, but it is about what you can prove, and everybody's
What you can
innocent,
prove.
innocent until proven guilty, right?
And then not even they can prove it, but they have to wait for the justice wheels to turn. They gotta wait for that day in court. Because that's just where we are. It's
That's
fucked up. Some days I wish we can go back to the days where we just take a motherfucker out there to the middle of town square, give her a good old stoning. She'll be all right.
right, or yeah, that part again, some little act right, a little bit of act right. That's what we gonna call it. Hell yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Cause girl,
I
if you
just
did
can't
that to
believe.
your own kids, it's nothing in the world that make me think you give a fuck about anything else.
But yourself,
That's it. That's all. That's
that's
all
a
she
walk.
was showing.
She's a walking monster. She's out here walking monster. It's crazy. And
With a lace front.
what'd you say?
With a lace front.
Yeah, did you see that picture? Her little, I seen how, and then we seen her in her little dookie braids when she was on the camera and shit, and then
Yeah, and
she
then
was
she was like, listen, I have some of my videos that I had in my phone, they wouldn't load, but like she was naked on Facebook naked.
Oh no, we seen it. We seen
You
it.
did? Okay.
Yeah, on the one. It was crazy. It was crazy work. I was like, dude, she's out posing. Her nails were like fucking long as hell. I'm like, she's out here. I was like, what the heck? And you heard she didn't have a job, and it was all welfare. $30,000.
Man, I'm sure she had men in her life. And my whole thing is, damn, y'all went asking her where her kids was at?
That's exactly what I said. And the one guy who talked, he said the boyfriend, said she talked about the kids so much and shit. But I'm like, you never said, hey, you talk about these kids so much. Where the fuck they at?
Like, we ain't never gotta go pick them up and they ain't gonna spend no time with them and that.
Right? Like, can I meet them? Can I see a picture? And then listen to this. Let me ask you this, Mrs. Ventures. So they showed a picture. The shorty had the mom saved under the uh best mom ever or greatest mom ever. And I don't
She
think
probably did that.
that's exactly what I said because I'm like, if they didn't know how to brush their teeth nor fucking flush the toilet, they didn't know how to use a
I
device.
don't think that I'm not gonna say I'm gonna say probably one of them didn't know how to flush the toilet. I'm gonna say it got to the point that that shit was probably backed up so bad they couldn't flush the toilet.
Right, I agree. Um, I agree, but that's exactly you hit it on the nose. We great minds think alike. You know what I'm saying? Crazy work. I'm gonna I'm gonna mute you for a minute. All right.
Okay, yeah, I'm still hands still wet. Go ahead.
Your phone privileges will be removed. You're not to have, in fact, any contact should you post this bond with any children under the age of 18 in this matter. If you post this bond, you should be supervised by pretrial services, no alcohol or drugs, no weapons or firearms, and a GPS tether with a verified address, because I'm concerned pretrial services has indicated 2 different reported addresses for you. I don't believe anyone knows where you have been staying, madam. There's no consistent history. Anything further regarding the bond, Ms. Caragongo, Ms. Green?
Just ever so briefly, they had no issues finding my client to arrest her. So I just want the record to be clear on that.
Ms. Green?
Your Honor, you have before you information that the defendant has been lying about her whereabouts, the whereabouts regarding what she was telling where the children were. So you have a lot on this record in terms of inconsistencies with her location and the information that she's given to put in place this high cash bond.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for your cooperation in this matter. Ms. Bryant, you are thanked and excused from the camera.
Uniswap Labs is built for DeFi because
Again, shout out to that judge for real. I'm gonna play one more video, y'all. Now I want to play the reduction because I want to see what they said. And again, I snooped while the video was playing. I can't find anything else other than when she was supposed to go to court in July, but I don't know, maybe because there was no publicity allowed. I don't know, but I'm gonna let you off mute for a minute if you want to say something, Miss Adventures. Um, but have you heard any update since she last went to court, Miss Adventures?
No, I actually haven't.
Okay,
But
I didn't.
I haven't been doing my rounds on it. I need to get back on it and go back
Nah,
to the
she hasn't. It's been since 5 months. There's been nothing. Someone earlier in my chat said they Googled it, and it says that she has a hearing on the 26th of February 2026. But I haven't had a
that
chance.
shit. That's weird. That put us at a year.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't. That doesn't make any fucking sense. So like I don't know.
I mean, it depends. Cause like, has she been indicted on the charges?
What do you mean indicted? I mean she had she had a bond, right? And
No, that's different. That's you being charged.
oh, so but wouldn't is indicted like federal level?
It no. When you're indicted, that's when the grand jury is sequestered. You the what is it called? The perpetrator isn't there. The grand jury comes together. The prosecutor comes and they present the evidence that they have for this person. What would it be called? Perpetrator.
Yeah.
And from there, the grand jury decides if they have enough evidence to move forward with the charges that have been presented before them. A
Right.
lot of
So
times, some trials don't make it past indictment. You feel what I'm saying? A lot
right.
of like people will be charged with things and they won't. Well, that's how it works here. I don't know. Let me not speak because I don't know if it works like that in Michigan.
Well, they did say, I heard in and earlier we heard in a video, I can't remember how to say it, but it was like some type of plea. It was like she said that I can't remember the verb, but that's what I heard in it. I'll run that the last video. I'm gonna run two more videos. They're short ones. And then that's where the case is at, and then we'll see what we have to say.
Okay.
I'm gonna mute you. Big M, you still with me?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, I was just checking on you.
This is all very troubling to the people, and it is telling about the serious instability of defendant's support and her willingness to rely on that support. No one is willing to vouch for the defendant. Your Honor, in regards to defendant's potential flight risk, the people do believe the defendant is a potential flight risk with the level of local and national attention and her lack of community ties and stable housing. Most importantly, we believe that she does pose a danger to the community, specifically the victims who are members of the community, who she egregiously and intentionally neglected for years. And one other point the people want to address is good.
Closest to the pin for an ultra.
Would not be in Ms. Bryant's care.
All right, thank you. At this point, the court did set this for a separate hearing in order to review whether there should be a modification of the bond. And as I indicated, the parties seeking the modification had the burden of going forward with this. So the real question for the court is there a substantial reason to modify the original bond as set? Now, the purpose of the bond and pretrial release conditions are to ensure the defendant's return to court and also the protection of the public and alleged victims in the case. The purpose of the bond is certainly not to punish, even though this is an extremely high impact case. There is much interest in the outcome of this case and in the bond. But the law is very clear that with certain exceptions, a criminal defendant is entitled, as a matter of constitutional right, to have a reasonable bond or bail established for pretrial release. Cash bond is permissible if the defendant's appearance or the protection of the public cannot otherwise be assured. The court recognizes that this bond review hearing was set in a fairly short period of time, and some of the information that I requested, according to defense counsel, could not be provided within this time. I'll also note that the principal charges in this case are felonies, but not strictly assaulted crimes under the court rule. So at this point, I have reviewed all of the factors that the court is to take into consideration in determining the proper bail. The court has also reviewed the pretrial services report, and in that report, there was still a question as to the residence. However, for purposes of going forward, we will use the address that is listed on the complaint and also in the pretrial services report. In terms of the mental health concerns, the court will address that as a condition of bond. I am still not satisfied that the court can at this point say that there is a guarantee of a return to court. The defendant has not been a flight risk in the past. However, the potential penalty in this case is quite high given the nature of the charge. The protection of the public and the victims is also a concern, and I do share some of the concerns that were mentioned by the arraigning judge in terms of the defendant's potential to reach out to the alleged victims, the children in the case, to try to influence any testimony, and I'm going to deal with that issue. So I realize that there may be a need to do further review of the bond, but I do find that the court has an obligation to set a reasonable bond, and the current bond amounts to a denial of bond. So what I'm going to do is modify based on the information that we have that is verified. So I'm going to modify the bond in this case. I'm still requiring a cash bond for purposes of ensuring that the defendant returns to court, to give further support to protection of the public and to prevent reoffending. But I'm going to reduce the bond to a $50,000 cash bond at this point with the following conditions. The defendant will be on pretrial services supervision. There's to be no alcohol or illegal drug use, no.
So it was cash, but you can get a bondsman and shit, you know what I'm saying? All right, well, we broke it down for monster number 8, y'all. Sorry, I'm trying to swallow my food. This bitch is a monster. I'm praying for the shorties. I'm gonna definitely see what's going on with her case, definitely, you know. But you know how I like to always end it, y'all. Good old Winnie the Poohski, Christopher Robin, you know. You're smarter than you think. You're braver than you believe. And you're stronger than you seem. I feel it in my soul every time, y'all. I feel it in my soul every time. You know, I hope everyone has the smoothest, the coolest, and the 100% truest rest of their night that they ever could have, you know. And y'all know it's all love over here. It's all love. We got 2 days till the 25th, y'all. Tomorrow's we'll have 7 days left of 2025. 7 days left till we're into 2026. Be smooth now.